Welcome to the Refined Men podcast. This is your host, Devon. This is my co-host, Aaron. We're going to be here speaking the gospel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy
Let's
to
get
be
it.
here.
This is a long time in the making.
Buddy.
Man, if y'all know what I went through the last 2 years to try to start this and for God to put this in motion right now, it's a blessing. So I start off. So 2 years ago, I was thinking about doing a podcast, but it never came to light. I never had, I had ideas about it, about like a different topics and things like that wasn't Christ related. But now, like where I'm at now spiritually, it definitely made sense now to do it. I think God definitely made a way to basically put everything on hold just until, I get myself to where I'm at today.
Yeah, his brother has been working. Let's just say that. He's been working and also working on me as, iron sharpens iron. He, we both had our relationship with Christ separately. And then I just observed something. And then me and him chopped it up afterwards. And he just told me what the motivation was. And I'm like, I never thought of that. And so after that, I started my own journey with it. And yeah, my eyes are even more open to just everything, man. Like there's so many levels to this relationship with God. It's infinite, really. Even in the afterlife, they say that you still don't know everything that God knows. And it's like, so
It's not for us to know.
at all. And I'm cool with that. As long as I'm in his presence, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's about trusting them, man. I'm gonna start off to just let the viewers know that we're gonna do this podcast out of love. It's not gonna be slandering people, judging people, because we definitely had a life before this.
Yeah.
It's a long time in the making. We just want to meet people where they at and just help them have a relationship with Christ. But the key thing, what I just said, have a relationship with Christ, not a religion, not spirituality. Relationship is the key thing to having one-on-one with God.
Yeah. As we said, there's levels to it, man.
Yeah.
And it is, we're taught to, and this is like I said, I had to step away from the works-based approach. If I do this, then God will do this. If I don't do this, God won't do that. And it's like, no, it's so much to it. It's so
the Bible
much
said
to it.
we're always gonna fall short of the glory, or
And
definitely
just
gonna fall short. But the thing I think God wants us to do is just keep trying. Put Him first. Love Him, trust Him. Especially over time, as you going to church or you reading your Bible and doing all these different things, He's definitely gonna give you renewed strength. He's definitely going to bless you whenever you want to do. And I think that's where people struggle at. They think that they have to be perfect in order to have a relationship with Christ, and it's not about perfection. It's not. He just wants you where you at, really.
Yeah. And I think, too, because I started to, and as me and Devon talked about this several times, I started to focus less on heaven and hell and focus strictly on the cross.
Yeah.
What happened, what took place, what was the symbolism of it. You don't have to be perfect, but once you accept Christ and you believe in Him by faith, you are then made perfect in God's eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's, man. And to go what you said, too, about taking that time, it is about endurance. There's going to be trials. Every day is not going to be great, but you endure.
Yeah.
Whatever you see, you endure. And that's where I'm at, man. Just enduring. I can go on all day about it, but
Yeah. So, start off the podcast, I just want all the viewers to know the background of us, where we started at, where we came from. For myself, I just want to give thanks and kudos to my uncle and my grandmother for planting that seed in me since I was a young boy. I didn't really understand what they was instilling in me till this year. They both are with the Lord right now, but like it's been a blessing to kind of go full circle on that whole experience.
what age?
What age was?
Was when you got introduced? What age?
I got baptized, I believe, twice. I got baptized when I was a kid. I didn't really understand what was going on during that time. I think it was in 2018, 19. I got baptized the second time with my fiance, with my soon-to-be wife in 1 month.
Oh
Shout out
man,
to us.
yes sir.
Yeah. And we basically got baptized together. But
Sweet.
this time we did it. My uncle baptized us, and my grandmother helped do that as well. And we was filled with the Holy Spirit. It was a blessing, you know. That at that time, that was the perfect time to do it because I knew exactly what I was doing and what I was giving my life to. Yeah, and they just instilled something in me, you know.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, and that's why I'm here today to carry on the legacy for them. This is the start of the new journey for me. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Clearly.
Yeah, I'm ready for everything, or for all the smoke, like how everybody else say.
Hey.
The young kids say it. But no, I'm definitely ready to live for Christ and die for Christ.
So I was saying, like, what age did you get introduced to God? Like your very first conversation about God, what age was it?
I don't know the age, but I know I
Okay.
was little. Like my grandmother used to take me to church every Sunday as my mama went to work and things like that. So she used to have me in there faithfully. He was my uncle church at the time. He was the pastor and he was, you know, preaching. But she just brought me and she used to keep me in Sunday school. It's so funny that I was just telling, you know, people from my church that at times I didn't know what I was going to church and doing. Like I was just laying on the couch, going to sleep,
Yeah.
just going to Sunday school, just being there all day, eating and all this stuff. It was a blessing. I didn't know what it was going on, but I
Yeah.
definitely feel like even though I didn't know what's going on, God still get all the glory, and He still was working on me during that time period. I just didn't know it.
Because he knew.
Yeah, He knew. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He
Yeah.
definitely knew what the plans, you know, He wanted to do in my life.
That's
But that's
what's
for anybody. God, right before you were born, God already knows what He wants you to do with your life. Yeah, He definitely knows.
Knows the numbers of hairs on your head, knew you and knit you in your mother's womb. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I want to go ahead or
Yeah, it was go ahead, bro.
oh okay. So I'm Aaron Tolan. I am a brother in Christ with Mr. Starks. We met at our previous job, and thank you, Lord, for my new one. That's another story. But giving a little intro to who I am, I officially learned about God at age 6. And I remember my mother was reading the book of Bible stories, and then I was playing with an action figure while she was reading it, trying to multitask. And my mother stopped. She said, listen, you can either keep playing with that toy, and when you pass away, something very bad can happen, or you can continue listening to what I'm reading and go to a good place and be with God. I dropped the action figure. That moment I made was called an executive decision.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was God reminded me of that moment during a conversation we had. He said, that was the moment that you chose me.
Yeah.
And so 7 years from that day, or 7 years from that age, was when I got baptized. So just like you, I got baptized twice. And again, the first time I did it, it was, in my mind, a Christmas gift to Jesus because I got it during Christmas time.
That's a blessing right there.
Yeah, that in my mind, that's how I was thinking, you know.
Right.
But what was interesting was at 13 was when the sermon started to make sense. Like you said, I would go to church, you be in there like,
When the pastor's gonna be done.
you know, you
We gotta
giggle.
keep it real, man.
Yeah, you giggle at the people catching the ghosts because they doing their thing. You didn't realize what it was. And then the food in the basement, you smelling it is just torture because you got to wait till you get home to eat, you know. But it's like you said, God just placed you there. He already knew.
Yeah.
You know, your steps are ordered. So he had you exactly where he needed you. But then once it started hitting at 13, I was like, so after that, that was when the passion to go to church came. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could keep going, but yeah, that's
No, you said everything on point, man. Yeah, we met at a school. We both was working at a school at that point. And you know, we didn't kind of start off like we didn't have no bad terms or anything like that, but we just it didn't click like how it click now.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
not at all.
Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah,
I think we kind of you might as well say trauma bonded with the school,
You
what we
could
was
say
going
that.
through there.
You could say that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of helped shape our relationship. But I think God was working on that the whole time, which is why we here now.
Oh yeah.
He definitely ordered a step, and he definitely knew that we was gonna be doing this podcast. Yeah, so it's definitely a blessing that I met you. You know, to have my co-host and my partner. You know, we can talk about anything. It's not just Christ related. We can get out of here and just kick it.
Yeah.
About life, whatever. But God is definitely the one who brought us together, and I can't thank him enough for it.
Man, don't you trying to make me cry on the first episode, man. I ain't doing it. But no, yeah, it's the same thing, brother, man.
Yeah.
Like you have truly sharpened the iron, bro. Like again, not just in your faith journey and the things you shared with me, but through example. That's heavy. Like to sit and watch and see you show me what obedience looks like.
Yeah.
You know, not what I've believed or I've been taught for years. It's like I'm actually witnessing somebody execute. And then I say, man, I never even thought of that. You know what I'm saying? And so to really just see that and then decide to take that on, and then I start to see the results, and God is just like, been trying to tell you, but you came in at that right time. And it's like, yeah, when God blesses you or God just reveals things to you that have been there the whole time, and then your eyes are just open and you finally see it, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know. And I'd say this too. I always like to say, when God blesses you, he can literally bless you the same way 15 times, and each time it feels like the very first one.
Yeah.
He is the expert at the wow and blowing your mind with blessings, man. So like I said, this moment here, this is everything, bro.
Yeah. And I just want to thank God for me to even be, a vessel that was used for you to see my obedience. I definitely think if I had one word for this year, is obedience.
Man.
And that's what I've been doing. It wasn't no perfect road to get here. I done a lot of worldly things, but I'm putting that to death now. Especially, I know these is like the end times, and I know that I got to live for Christ.
Yeah.
And nothing's gonna stop me from getting there. And I know my purpose now. This year, God revealed my purpose to me. He did it multiple ways. It's kind of eye opening because for like 25 years, I was just trying to ask him like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I here for? After all the accolades I had, college degrees, and all these different things going on in my life, it's just like I still kind of felt empty inside a little bit, because I kind of felt like confused. Like, okay, I seen everybody else, doing their things. I'm not jealous or anything like that, but it's like, what am I supposed to be doing? How can I be a help to the world? And he revealed that to me, and ever since then, man, it's like my life changed for the better. I hope I influenced a lot of people along the way. I know I did, actually, but it's just, just the doing it part is, a blessing, man. Just I never thought I'd be here. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that too. Like when you're in that waiting season, it is a little uncertain. There's confusion. There is something I want to ask you too, but I'm gonna wait till we get through it all. But yeah, like we base success and worth off of an earthly metric.
Yeah.
And that's how the world engineers us. Man, I feel like going to a whole lot of topics, but
Let me just say this real quick.
Yeah.
A lot of people put value into money. Money is, of course it can help you, but I think this year it definitely showed me that don't depend on money, depend on God.
On everything.
And he'll add money to me if I put him number one and, list all his commands and decrees and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's real. It's we see the big homes, we see the cars, we see these things, and it's just like, where mine at? And God is just like, because it's a part of it, and this is what I love the most, is that during that period, it's the lessons that you learn, it's the things you pick up. And we talked about this all summer. The renewal of your mind is what he's after. Because once I move you into what I want to give you, then you will have the mindset to be able to appreciate what I gave you. Yeah. So.
And I just want to, do a shout out real quick to my mom and to my brothers for, just helping me out in life, for me to be where I'm at right now. they've been a blessing to me, man. I can't wait for you to meet them. But they definitely instilled a lot into me, and I think God definitely touched their heart, to help me out along the way. It's just a blessing, man. Like, listen, I'm gonna get into why we created this show.
All right.
Basically, like I said earlier, for 2 years I've been struggling with trying to come up with a podcast and things like that. I kind of let it go after like last year. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait till the right time or whenever something happens. Then this year, like happened, I forgot what month it was. It probably in the summertime, and something just hit me. I was doing a whole week fast, and the first day it was Monday. I remember this day. I was listening to this podcast, man. I think it's called The One Podcast by Torrey Roberts. And he had a guest speaker on there, and she was speaking about basically God told you to make that podcast, and you haven't done it. And I felt like it hit my spirit, like it was in my spirit to do it. I'm like, dang, he's talking to me right now. Like, the whole message, that stood out to me the most. And I was like, dang, he working in different ways, man. Like, I never expected that to happen. And then the next day, that Tuesday, I was at work, had some downtime, came up with the whole idea of how I wanted this podcast, why we doing it, and everything just started coming together from there. And I knew it was God, because man, listen, that whole week just fasting, it was just a lot of things was just coming too easy. I just knew it, like, this is the spirit right here. Like, I couldn't think about this, by myself. And then especially me talking about doing it 2 years before then, it's like, why this never came into life now? You know what I'm saying?
Because it was the right timing, bro.
Right timing, exactly. And that's a blessing, for God to bless me with that idea. All glory go to Him. Nothing, nothing goes to me. All goes to Him.
Yeah.
I just want to make that be known. But yeah.
But no, that's, the thing that you said. So here's a question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was reading, I was on Glorify last night, and they talked about how doubt is a vital component of faith. Of course, when you hear doubt, it's a negative connotation, it's a thing, but they were basically making it associate with it is a kind of essential component to faith. Yeah. Our natural human instinct is to question, is to wonder, how's this going to happen? What is it? It sounds, but those who know, or the initiated, as we say, we understand that, even if it sounds impossible, we know who we serve, who specializes in the impossible. So then it's like you begin to kind of relax your doubts a bit. You might still have it in the back, but it's like you still just believe and you press on. So like for your thing, you wanted to start it back then, and when it didn't start, you kind of was like, well, man,
I was over with.
And then God is just like, no.
Yeah.
Let me work, let me cook, and let me align things. And He does that, bro.
Yeah.
And I want to say this too, man. Shout out to the directors of The Forge, man. First of all, shout out to you, because you and my Uncle Rod, shout out to him, you guys were the ones who really, like, I kept hearing about it, like, go see this movie, go see it. All right. I went last Sunday to watch it, and I can tell you that, not to give the movie away for those who haven't seen it, but it was just like, it was like I didn't cry during the film, but it took a lot of effort, man. I was in there just, you don't want to see the people behind you, so you wiping your eyes, but the movie really shows you just how God aligns things. It's a regular thing to you, and you got regular people around you, but you don't even know how He's just putting all the pieces together. He's a chess player, man. And when it comes out and it makes sense, you're just like, oh, wow. So, yeah, I get you, brother.
And to answer your question, I think reason why a lot of us have doubt is because we got to see it before we believe it. And that's the same thing with relationship with Christ. They want to see Christ before they believe it, but sometimes it don't happen like that. It's a blessing on the other side of believing. I know it's hard. It's easier said than done, but trust me, I'm an example of believe before you see. Um, yeah, and it's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
So I would ask you too, like, because I know this will probably be explored later on,
yeah,
but just going off the philosophy that to me, faith is believing beyond what your senses tell you.
right.
You know, as a human, we're more prone to believe what we see, hear, taste, touch, smell. But it's like God works so far beyond that. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
take one step out on water. To us, the logic, the physics, it's like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then you look down, you walking on water.
Just
Because
like Peter, like that's the
exactly.
same thing, man. Like Peter didn't believe that he can walk on water, and he drowned. Not he didn't necessarily drowned, but
He
he fell in
almost
the
did.
water. Yeah. And then just like how the Israelites, they didn't believe for so long. They were supposed to get to the land of Canaan in a couple of days, and it took 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's just like God just wanted them to just believe in Him and just trust Him, no matter their circumstances. Um, and that's why I just think this how just the world is just in general. Like they
Yeah.
don't trust Him, or they think their circumstances is much bigger, but they don't know that they serve a big God. Yeah, and God will just release you from anything that has you in bondage or has you stressing. And people just need more examples like this podcast. This is why we
Yes.
going. That's why we made this to help people out
Yeah.
to get to where their purpose or to have that relationship with Christ. This is very important. I think we need more episodes. I mean, not episodes, but more podcast shows like this.
Because we have a ton of episodes, people. When this
Yeah.
brother, listen, this one here, yeah, we have a
Yeah.
million episodes. Please
Yeah, we
believe.
loaded. Yeah, we loaded. And it's like, especially with men too. We need more men in Christ.
Yep.
Because, we see, women, doing podcasts like this all the time. I see it all through Instagram, but we need more men. And that's why I wanted to spark something in the world to do this. Because it's like, we need this.
Yeah.
We need more men to, help out in the household, be the leaders of the church, be the leaders in schools and being, president. But
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
topic for another day. But, we just need more men leaders. Not
Yeah.
to say women can't be leaders. We definitely need more women leaders as well. But I think we definitely need like leaders.
So to piggyback off that, I remember there's a Tyler Perry movie with Cicely Tyson, and one of the lines in the film, she said, "Men, take your place." And the scene was pretty powerful, but that was something I had to be like 20 when I saw this movie, but that line just jumped off the screen for me, like, men, take your place. So we have to be, as men, we have to be the anchor in societies, in the home. So even if you have a woman that is in power, she needs a strong man that is aligned with God to be behind her, or to be that anchor to keep her steady. Because that's how life is, man. And again, with the kids, with the schools, with all of that,
Right.
bro. It's you gotta be a man that's cemented in God and take your place in his life.
And just don't think, this for the viewers too. Don't just think this is a man empowerment podcast too. This is for women as well. We definitely want the women to feel empowered and to learn something from us, and even give us some insight. We all learning and growing in Christ. We all should, be open to different viewpoints and things, especially Bible related.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just want to get into, why me and you. It could have been anybody else, but why me
Yeah.
and you? So basically, we worked the same position at the school. Two or four of us, and we used to, like I said, bond over the things that was going on in the school. And in that process, we start talking about God every single day. And we just developed that rapport and relationship, and then it even turned into, us texting every day about God, and talking on the phone, or using Instagram voice messages.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time coming, and it was just no brainer to do it with you, because of that relationship. I know that you a man that fears Christ, and let me just clear that up too. What it means to fear is not just fear him, but it's more respect him.
Yeah.
Respect. And to get back on the fear part, like people need to understand, like, have the fear of God, have the respect of God instead of saying fear. respect, because respect goes a long way. Because you don't want nobody disrespecting you, right? You don't want to disrespect your parents,
Mm-hmm.
and they take away things from you that was already kind of predestined for you. Because you can mess up your blessings if you're not obedient.
So that's like, yeah. So touch on that. The fear. To my definition of fear was the it came from the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
For me as a kid, the Old Testament was the most dramatic, the most action packed. God
Mm-hmm.
did what? And that was like what established that for me. But then as I got older and got into the New Testament, and I realized that fear does not mean to be terrified.
Yeah.
That fear is in reverence to like you said, like your
Mm-hmm.
parents. You fear your mother, you fear your father, but it's not a fear like you're terrified of them. It's a
Right.
respect thing.
Yeah.
That discipline is there. That order, that structure is there.
Mm-hmm.
With God, it's literally the same thing, probably just a little bit higher, but definitely God does not want you to be afraid of him. Like my favorite verse is 1 John 4:18. Now it's my new favorite verse. With perfect love casts out fear.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say that for another episode, but it was
Yeah.
like understanding what that fear means
Mm-hmm.
is that reverence for God. I'm aware of what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I've read the Old Testament. I know what you can do, but I
Right.
also know the love that you have and what you did do. So I operate in that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
that fear is something. And then if you want to bring doubt back in, I guess fear might cause you to, if you live in that fear of like if you fear him in a terrified sense,
Mm-hmm.
that will cause you to doubt the blessings he has for you. That causes you to doubt your relationship with him. That causes you to just live in this uncertainty. And then it's like once you realize that God is love, like his love is immeasurable. You can experience everything on this earth going well for you. I promise you, the love that God has just overpowers that in so many ways. It's infinite. Once again, he's infinite. Try to imagine what infinite love feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the doubt part is,
Yeah.
it's a component, man. Like yeah.
Yeah. While you was just talking, man, just like kind of one of the scriptures just kind of spoke out to me. I think it's Matthew 6:33. Seek the kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you as well. That definitely applies to my life, really, because after I seek God this year, this was like the first year. God always been a part of my life. I always prayed and everything like that, but my whole relationship has changed. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd be fasting. I never thought that I would be um, kind of listening, just sitting there listening to him after I even pray. Like it's important to just listen to hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
He revealed his voice to me this year as well, his audible voice, and it's just like it's just so much different blessings that came from just being obedient that I can't stress it enough. Obedience is more than sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that's in my spirit. Like we could sacrifice all these different things and give all these different things up, but obedience is number one. You can look it up in the Bible in almost every story. Obedience is worth more than sacrifice. I just want the viewers to know that. And I want them to know that God loves them. God definitely loves you no matter where you are,
Mm-hmm.
whether you have a relationship with him right now or you don't. He's definitely still loves you and he's definitely waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who am I talking to, but please have that relationship with God.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like I said, the relationship with God is important. It's not having a relationship with God through your pastor, your bishop, or any other the church leader. It's about your relationship with him. It's about you can listen to podcasts, sermons, go to church and those things. Them is definitely cool. It's definitely part of your journey and definitely something that you should be doing. But when behind closed doors, you need to definitely be in your Bible, definitely read, definitely learn Him. You definitely have to learn Him. One of the things that helped me throughout this whole process was I bought a book on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically Learn the Bible in 52 Weeks for Men. And that definitely helped me a lot to be where I'm at now because it broke down the Bible from the beginning to the end, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and it definitely kind of just showed me the way of how to break down the Bible. Because sometimes a lot of people they get overwhelmed with reading the Bible because they don't know where to start at. And I was like that at first. I think last year, when I was seeking out my relationship with God, I was reading the Bible, but I just felt like it wasn't like, I don't know. It just, I feel like I was had too much in my brain to really
Mm-hmm.
kind of understand until I bought that book. Then it's like it changed my life because it's like, man, like I can break it down like this way. I can learn about these different stories. I took it from the beginning, from Genesis to all the way to last book,
Revelations.
Revelation.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, like I didn't know I can do it, break it down like that, and it's just been a blessing.
So what? So just to get into this, feel like I'm interviewing you. Like
Yeah,
what? Just for the viewers to understand,
yeah,
what does obedience look like? Like how would you? I could tell them based off what
right.
I saw, but I'd rather you say it first, and then I'll come in and interject. But to you, what is like? Give me like I say 3 steps of obedience that you would give the viewers to kind of get them an understanding.
I think number one is reading the word. I think reading the word is definitely going to increase your knowledge of His word. Um, Number two, I would say try, just try. That's all you got to do,
Yeah.
just try. Just like anything you do, it ain't gonna just happen overnight. But as long as you try, that's a step right there, just trying.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is just mastering it. Having
Yeah.
people hold you accountable. Talk to your bishop, pastor, your friends, whoever your religious leaders are,
Yeah.
to help you out with that process because it's definitely worthwhile. One of the things that I gave up in obedience this year was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking was something that I did, for social reasons, but
Right.
I wasn't like a drinker drinking at home or anything like that. But I definitely did it, to fit in with other people. But God didn't
Mm-hmm.
make me to fit in. God didn't design me
Man.
to fit in. Like He designed me to stand out.
Yeah.
Be the light of the world in His glory. Honor His name and glory and everything. But that's definitely something that to keep mindful of. Like I was drinking, I was out there in the world, I was living,
Yeah.
living in sin. But I was like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I gaining out of this? Another thought I had was, I've been doing one thing one way for 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it got me nowhere. I
Yeah.
have all the
Yeah.
success in the world and all these different things, the cars and all this stuff, but it's like that doesn't hold any value.
Nah.
Me seeking God holds value because He has blessed me numerous times this year. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a different episode because I kind of want to stay on track. But He definitely blessed me with so much. He blessed me with wisdom. He blessed me with a wife, soon to be wife in a month. He blessed me with so much. And, I
Mm-hmm.
just can't thank Him enough for just using me as a vessel.
Yeah.
And I will continue to be used.
Oh
And
yeah.
I know that I got other big things that's coming for us in this podcast, and we just hope that you guys tune in and learn something, and yeah, just know we coming out of love. We coming out of love.
Listen, it is still a journey. It is still a mission. It
Yeah,
doesn't stop,
yeah,
And the thing I wanted to jump in for obedience, I guess what my definition would be for me, it was watching my brother actually just be disciplined and be this refined individual, if you will. And I'm like, yo, man, what's up with it? He say, listen, man, I'm just being obedient. And I promise you that just rang bells like Sunday at 12 o'clock. It was just like, wait, what?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's let the viewers know why we named this refine. What does refine mean to you?
Refined to me means I would say it's a polishing of what's there. It is a sculpting and molding of something that's there to get the absolute best out of it. The way like you test silver to flame. It's literally the same thing. When you refine something, you take what's there and you work with it and you bring out the absolute best in it.
That's a perfect example. I almost can't go after that, but it's just basically just sculpting you,
Yeah.
directing your path and directing your steps.
And to add to that too, like when we said having that relationship with God, it doesn't require you to be this already perfect individual.
No.
We've really been kind of, I want to say, indoctrinated with this belief like, now, yes, God is perfection. And, in the Old Testament times, I think, which that's really what shaped a lot of people's view of God. You have to be pure in his presence and things of that sort. I mean, in a way, but he loves you. He made you. He knit you in your mother's womb, which means whatever whatever part of your life you come to him in, he already knew. He already knew. He knew you. He knew where you would be, and he knew exactly how it was going to play out. And yeah, I just think that that refinement is a real example of be who you are, but come to God as you are,
Yeah.
and He will refine you. I guarantee it.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be in a certain place in life to receive him. Like when he met me this year, you know, he met me before then, but when he really changed my life, it took obedience, but also took just like him refining my whole life, just sculpting it out. Like, okay, I knew you was gonna be here,
Yep.
and I'm definitely gonna have you where you need to be at the right time. I'm gonna have you meet the right people. I'm gonna have you doing the right things, and this is gonna empower you to walk into your purpose and walk into whatever he has for you. And that definitely like kind of refined my whole thinking. It's like, okay, I seen one blessing. It's like, okay, let me keep going. Let me see what else he can do. But it's not just about him just blessing me.
Yep.
It's about me honoring his name too.
Yeah.
Having respect for him. Just like anybody else, like your mother and father, you want to honor them and you want to show respect to them. And you want to make sure that they always feel love and not just like you just withdrawing from God. It's about you got to deposit in him as well. You got to give him that time. You got to give him that effort. You got to be obedient. You got to go to church and all these different things. We're gonna get into that another episode. But yeah, he gonna meet you where you are, wherever you at in life, man.
You just said something too, man, because now it's firing all over the place. But the thing that I had to tell my mother this too. I'm a movie buff, obviously. We both are actually.
Yeah.
But one of the movies that hit me with this line was The Crow, when he said, "Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children." And so when I thought about it, I said, that makes a lot of sense. And then I had a conversation with my mother recently, and I told her, I said, if it was not for you being the woman that you are, and not just raising me in God, but having that relationship with him and understanding, you have really just mapped out a better understanding of how me and God relate. And it was like, I just started praying for the same thing more than one time. It's kind of funny to me, but everybody know when you come to your mama, you ask her one time. You better not ask her again because she heard you the first time.
Right.
So that was how I felt God was with prayer. He like, dude, I already heard you. And then on top of that, because he's all knowing, I always assume he already knew. But now it's like as that revelation comes, God has really been on faith with me.
Yeah.
Rely on me. You can't rely on your car, your this, your that. Rely on me.
Yeah.
And so with that, it was like, okay, I can ask you for the same thing more than one time without even seeing any evidence of it yet, but believing it's going to happen because I'm coming to you in faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother definitely instilled that in me as well. Just seeing like how much that she endured over her life, and it's like God gave me inspiration. Like God gave her strength. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. She's the definition of that, and she just showed me the way, and it kind of played out in my life the same way.
To add to that too, I'm sorry, man. The seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added.
Right.
That also to me was an extension of my mother's parenting. You don't do it because you expect something from it.
Yeah.
You do it because it's the thing you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So in that, you start to really understand with God, when you say seek me first, it's not, I know what you want. I know the desires of your heart. I know all of that.
Right.
Seek me first. Because then if it's in my will to give you, I'll add all these things to you. But seek me first, like you said, because that relationship is worth more than anything.
Yeah. And something that just hit me, like following Christ is not easy. It's not easy. But living a life without Christ is not easy as well.
Man.
You got to look at it like this. Like when you work out, like if you are fit, it's hard to get to that point where you fit. You got the muscles, you can get on the treadmill and do all these different things. Then it's also hard being overweight. It's the same concept. It's like you kind of want to figure out where you want to be on the end of the spectrum. I want to be with Christ. At the end of the day, when I die, I want to be with him. And I don't want to be in torment. I don't want to be in the lake of fire. I don't want to be. I don't want nothing to do with that. But just your relationship with Christ is just enduring. Whoever am I talking to today, endure. Just
Yeah.
endure. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be easy. It's gonna be it's no straight line. But anything with success related, it's not gonna be a straight line regardless.
Right.
It's just about just putting your effort in and just trying and doing what you can do. But it's also about having your support systems. Having a good support system around you is essential to having your relationship with Christ.
But to add to that too, I think it is difficult, but we talked about this too. It gets to a point where it's easy,
Yeah.
because not easy in the sense that troubles won't come,
Yeah.
but once you know and you
Make up your mind.
have a full scope
Yeah.
of who God is and what he does, and you've witnessed him work,
Yeah.
then it's like, yeah, it does get easy. You know,
Yeah,
like
it
I
definitely
wouldn't
do.
I wouldn't trade this part of my life where I'm at spiritually for nothing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's, yeah, it's trials, it's things of that sort, but it's just like God is there through it all.
Flowing.
So it's, yeah, like
Yeah, it's definitely flowing, man. Like I said, at the beginning of the year, I was nowhere near the man I am now.
Yeah,
I can tell
yeah.
you that I was living in sin. But as time go on, I started reading my Bible. You know, I started going to church every Sunday. I made a lot of changes in my life because I wanted a different outcome. You know, and through that, I found my strength. I found who I am. I found my identity. I know what I'm supposed to do with my life. It's all these different things are added to me, but it also can be added to you. Whoever I'm talking to today, it can be added to you.
Yeah.
Just try. Just do it. Just try it out. You know.
couldn't imagine not having no relationship with God right now, bro.
Yeah.
At this point, man, no. Couldn't see another. So let me watch this, because you just said something very sweet. You said that you weren't the man when I met you. You weren't the man that you are now.
Yeah.
So what I heard in my spirit as you was talking was the sign, kind of the same thing with the fear and the fear and no, I'm sorry, with the doubt and faith. You know, when you are weak, I am made strong.
Yeah.
You know, when you said that the things that you did, in a way that kind of ties into your question about refinement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you went through these things, but God already knew his steps are ordered, because at this point he's going to reach this fork and now he's going to go this way. I'm going to make sure of that.
Yeah.
But I'm refining him through
Yeah.
all the things. So now you got a testimony to give.
Yeah.
So
He definitely put things on your path just to kind of refine you for who you are. Cause go ahead.
No, that was
You
it.
have to kind of cut that part, but yeah, he definitely is going to refine you for where you are at. You
Yeah.
know, every life experiences that you have here on Earth is going to definitely be used for it. Even the ones when you were small. You
Yeah.
know, I can kind of test to that. Me just kind of being an outcaster. You know, growing up.
Me too.
I didn't get into most of the worldly things back then.
Yeah.
And it's like now I kind of like, why I didn't get into this? Why I wasn't, a part of this crew and all this stuff? It's like God didn't make me like that. He didn't want me to do that because he wanted me to be somewhere else.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Not to say he couldn't deliver me from, being in those certain circumstances, but it's like he's met me where I'm at. He's helped me to be where I am today.
Yeah. Yep. And I just had another thought too, man. It's just it just keeps coming like that. Like when you said that so when you said that you could have been a part of this thing, or you could have done this, and I actually discussed this today at work. The movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. The premise is the multiversal belief, which really is just something that we project in our minds to be different outcomes for situations. Had I joined this crew, this would have happened, or had I not done this, this would have happened. And then it's coming to that realization that exactly where you are is exactly where he
need to
wants
be.
you to be. You know what I mean? So when you said the part about the refinement and your journey, you got to that point and you knew. So everything that had happened, everything that had been denied to you in the world, once you got to that point, it all made sense to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, to me, God is just, he breaks it all down, man. And to go to my last point with studying the Bible, because I wanted to touch on that too. Now, as I'm hearing these stories, I'm starting to see more of the symbolism of each story. You know, what the walking on the water symbolized, what the staff in the Red Sea symbolized. Like, there's what you heard in the story, but then there's so much deeper meaning And God just works like that. If I'm not rambling or nothing, but it's
No,
like,
you
you
good.
know what I'm saying? Like it's now it's more just reading it and I'm studying it, but I'm studying it from a symbolic point. Like,
Yeah.
what does the rock in David's sling actually mean? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? The slaying of the giant, what does that mean? And
Yeah.
God just has the whole thing that he breaks down, man. It's intricate, bro.
Yeah. Well, y'all be on the lookout. We about to be out here. You know, we about to flood y'all.
Oh yeah.
You can find us on Instagram at the Refined Men podcast. We're gonna be on Facebook as well at the Refined Men. We're gonna be on TikTok as the Refined Men as well. Be on the lookout on YouTube. You know, go under the link in our bio. You can go straight to today's episode. Also, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts at the Refined Men.
I was about to say something.